What's up, y'all?
Hey guys, it's Black History Month,
It is Black History Month.
so go ahead and subscribe because it's Black History
That's a
Month.
good reason.
And I'm wearing my Black History gear.
Exactly.
Paragon 7 Studios.
Yeah. Just between him and me, there's a line. There's no tricks. Ooh, there's a love.
Welcome to Just John and April, a relationship podcast, your place to level up your intimacy.
Yeah.
Paragon 7 Studios, Lance J Radio Network. We're excited to be here again. What's up, babe?
What's up?
So good to see you.
Yes.
I like you in your Black History gear. It's nice.
you.
Where'd you get that thing from again?
My head wrap
Yes.
from the Black Hair Store, honey. Yes.
Well, that's good on you.
Thank
I'm
you.
enjoying it. And so I'm excited because this episode, we are going to be talking about something we really like, Black love.
We do. We like Black love and we love Black love.
That's true.
Okay.
And the fact that it's Black History Month, you know.
Yes. What better time?
Exactly.
So we can talk about Black love and, I'm going to just go right in. We came across this article.
Which was crazy. I could not believe what the article showed.
Yes. Blackdemographics.com. It's called Black Marriage in America. And I was actually shocked that Black love don't have a lot of love going on.
Well, there might be a lot of love, but they're not necessarily getting married.
Not as much love as I thought.
Right.
I mean, there might be some Black love going on.
I'm sure.
It's true.
But
Not a lot of married Black love.
What we
Okay?
read was that Black people are not getting married at the same rate as other ethnicities. And I was surprised at that.
I was, but I do want to make it clear from the beginning that at least I'm not saying, I didn't talk to you about this, but I don't think you would say this either.
Okay.
That people have to get married.
Right.
You know
I'm
what
not saying that.
Like, no, but I know that sometimes people are pressured,
I agree
like
with
they
that.
have to get married. But I also know that there are a lot of ladies out there
Yeah.
that I know, Black women, that want to be married and aren't. I do know that too.
True. But this article is saying that it's Black women that are really bringing the number down in terms of people getting married and at the rate at which they get married.
Yeah,
and
so
all
let
that
me
kind of
give you
stuff.
the numbers.
Go
So
ahead.
30% of Black people are married, according to this.
Okay.
Okay. 3% divorced. 3% separated, 12% divorced, 6% widowed, and then 50% never married.
Wow.
So that's where I was like, really?
Right.
And for Black men, 52% never married.
Right.
Okay.
Wow.
And for Black women, it's 48%. So actually, I don't know.
I guess Black men are, but there are probably more Black men.
But see,
don't
I
know.
would say Black men are choosing not to get married.
That's possible.
Black women aren't necessarily choosing.
So I don't know if any of that's true.
Listen, all we would have to go by if we want to talk about Black women, black men and women is based on how many people we have encountered over the years.
Right.
I mean, we've been talking to people about relationships and all this kind of stuff for 21
Specifically
years.
marriage for that long.
Specifically marriage, but also, single people, we've been talking to them,
Right.
asking us questions, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And I have found that a lot of Black women want to be married, but Black men are like, I'm not really sure.
So
I don't know.
I would love to get someone else's perspective on that. So we have a friend who's actually listening and has called in.
Yes.
I
I
think we
can't
should-
wait to hear what she has to say.
I think we should take her call. This is Claudia. Claudia, are you there?
What's good?
Hey.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we hear you great, actually. Thank you for calling in, and we're excited to hear from you on this particular subject. Do you have anything to add to this conversation? Do you think you know why it is that Black marriage is not happening at the same rate as, say, other ethnicities?
Listen, y'all know I love you. April, you know I love you. But I got to disagree with you on this one, sis. Like,
Uh-oh.
I really think that Black women would prefer to be baby mamas than be wives.
Whoa.
Why?
Ooh.
Got
Ooh.
less and less Black marriages in our communities right now.
Wow.
Wow. So are you saying that Black women are, because I don't agree with you on that necessarily, but are you saying that you feel like they prefer to be baby mamas?
So I'm going to say it like this. And I know this is about to get super controversial, but I'm a Kevin Samuels fan.
Whoa.
Hold up.
Now,
Wait
hold
a
on,
minute.
hold on.
Let me put some boom in it,
Okay,
honey.
let's pause for a second
Hold
because people that know us already know that we have episodes
We've talked
done
about Kevin
against
Samuels.
Kevin Samuels. and April, before Claudia tells, because I really want to know, Claudia, how in the world did you become a Kevin Samuels fan? But what is it you don't like about Kevin Samuels, April?
Well, I have not watched a bunch of his stuff because I only watched a couple things. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Like,
Right.
I can't watch this.
Right. Which
Okay?
we talked about before.
Yes.
We're not like deep into his stuff. It's not like we watch a bunch of it.
I love a confident man, but he is not confident to me. To me, he's cocky. That's a totally different thing. And I don't like the way he speaks to women, period.
Okay. So that's what turns you off. Is
That
the way he
turns
talks to
me
women.
off.
Okay.
I heard him, talking to a group of women, and he was telling this woman the reason why you ain't getting no man because you fat. And all this
Okay.
stuff, telling her she ugly.
Right,
And I mean, come on. You
right.
really need to do that? She's not your preference, but I know a lot of fat women that's married.
So
okay?
right. So
And
it's,
that be getting men.
so you're saying it's
you
possible
can be big and still get you a man.
it's possible that Kevin Samuels may have said something that you could have agreed with, but you couldn't hear past his way he talks to women.
No,
to even,
I couldn't. Call
Right.
women fat and say, I mean, what's the point of that? Like,
Right.
why bring down black women?
Right.
Anyway,
so Claudia,
We wanna hear what
how
Claudia
in
got
the
to
world
say.
did you? First of all, I need to know when you first heard Kevin Samuels for the first time. Did you have a similar reaction as April, or were you like, "Oh yeah, I love the way this guy talks"?
No, I absolutely had the exact same reaction that April had. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't stand this dude. Like, he made me cringe just listening to him. I was
Wow.
just like, first of all, this is foolishness. I don't know what he's talking about. I can't believe he's talking to black women like this. It's craziness. But the more I listen to him, I realize he's talking specific kind of black man. So he's talking about what's called a Henry, or what he calls to be a high value man.
Right.
A high value man is someone who is making over $250,000, $300,000 a year
Right.
for over like 5 years, and they're not an athlete, a musician. They have a particular kind of network. They're in a particular tax bracket, particular kind of a community, right? They live a particular kind of lifestyle. And so what I was finding, watching all of his videos for the past year now, is that there are a lot of black women. The only kind of black man they want is that black man who is between 1 to 10% of the population.
Ooh.
So that black women are overlooking, turning down, rejecting average black men that are making anywhere between $40,000 to $70,000 a year, who are hardworking, kind, compassionate, unmarried, have no kids, have no debt. They're overlooking these really good average black men because they're desperate to get these high value black men. And what Kevin Samuels is trying to get these black women to understand is all of you are going after the 1%. Literally not enough of this particular guy that you want. And so you're actually turning down marriage, you're turning down relationships, and you're remaining single because you're going after or imagining a relationship with a guy that you actually cannot get.
Wow. So hold on. Okay. So hold on. You got to slow down for a second.
Yeah,
because
I'm
I have
processing
a
this.
question. I'm processing it too. I have a question now because you started off by saying that you think that a lot of black women would rather be babies' mamas. Are you basically saying then that the reason black women are trying to be baby mamas because they cannot get the high value man the other way? Is it like trapping him or something like that? What is happening in that situation?
I think it's that all human beings desire relationships. And so you have black women who get into sexual relationships with average black men, but then they say that average black man is not worthy of me being his wife.
Okay.
So I'm not going to marry the average black man that I've had babies with because I'm holding out to marry this 1%
high-value
rich, wealthy black man that I will never even come in contact with.
Wow.
I where is he getting this from? Seriously, where is he getting this from? I believe that women do probably talk like they want a man who is a high value man. Like
Right.
I wouldn't doubt that, but I don't think it's a, like they're really thinking, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and have a baby with this guy, but I'm not gonna marry him because I really want to marry that guy who is, and I'm waiting on that one, and this is why I'm not marrying this one. Because in my mind, well, from what I'm just going by what I've experienced and seen, women who if you end up being a baby mama, then you want to get married, but he don't ever want to marry you.
Right. The women you know
The
of.
women I know,
Yeah.
they want to marry the baby daddy.
Right.
But he don't want
They
to
don't
marry
wanna
him.
marry them, right.
So I'm not sure
Okay, so
that they're holding off for that 1%.
Okay, so
I
here's the
don't
thing.
agree with that.
Here's my question, Claudia, because maybe this little piece will go to it. How did you go from? Okay, because April couldn't listen to a second episode of this dude. Like, I mean, she was so put off by and disgusted by him that she couldn't even listen to a second episode. So, how did you get to the point where you listened to enough of him? How did you get to that point where you were actually listening to him this often to know what it is he's saying and where he's coming from?
So I'm intrigued by logical arguments.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, to be fair, anybody is difficult to listen to Kevin Samuels, not just because of his delivery, but because his videos are 3 hours long. So
are his videos that long?
Oh, absolutely. It's
Listen, they're long as what? I just saw one pop up. I was like,
literally. No,
that's hilarious.
It's a homework assignment. Okay,
right.
But because what I was seeing was it was woman after woman after woman. And it didn't matter if the woman was educated. The woman could have JD, MD, PhD. She could be high school educated, working in the Popeyes, working retail. It genuinely didn't matter what her station was. She could have 3, 4, 5 kids by, multiple men. She could have no kids. She could be religious. She could not be religious. She could be missing teeth. And she could be some of the most gorgeous woman in the world. She could be overweight. She could be skinny. It didn't matter. All of them were coming on. Samuels asks the exact same questions to each and every one of them. He speaks the exact same way to each and every one of them, regardless of weight, regardless of color, skin complexion, socioeconomic status. And he basically asks them, you want to have to work, you are pregnant. Black women will respond and they will say, oh, I don't mind, and then he has, no. How much of the financial responsibility do you want to have? He overemphasizes have to carry while and after being pregnant. And every single woman, even the ones that are making over 6 figures, ultimately come down and say, well, I don't want to have to bear any of the financial load. Once I get pregnant and have kids, I want to be at home.
Okay.
All of them say that. So that immediately, because we're having an exclusively logical and numerical conversation when we're talking with Kevin Samuels, immediately that then means, okay, so you want a man who is able to bear the financial load of you and your entire family. So then that immediate answer is yes. Okay, so then the follow-up question becomes, well, where do you live? I live in Texas. All right, how much does it cost to take care of a family for a middle to upper class family in Houston, Texas? You said you wanted 3 kids. Then they work it all the way down. They work out the numbers, and these women end up admitting, oh, well, I need a man. I actually need and want a man that makes $300,000-$400,000 a year. Then Kevin Samuels boils it down and is like, okay, how many men do you know in Houston, Texas that make that kind of money? Oh, well, I don't know any. Okay, what kind of jobs do these men work? Well, I don't know what they do. Okay, so you don't know where these men work. You don't know what they like to do. You don't know what they want out of life. What then do you feel like you have that makes you attractive to that man, even though you are nowhere in the sphere for this man to even see you? And so it's really kind of seeing that many women, and April, I hear you, because I had the same mindset that you had. That man, black women are constantly out here. We want to be married. Black men are holding the keys to marriage, and we just cannot get access. They will not marry us. Da 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 da. But then I'm like, as I'm looking at all these women come on, I'm seeing and I'm thinking to myself, man, black women modern marriages with traditional men.
We did an episode on that.
And that is true.
Yes.
I do believe that.
I wonder if that's just black women. That might be just women in general.
I think that might be just women in general.
But
I'm saying, I get that.
So she's not making a Kevin Samuels believer out of you.
No, I get that, but I just feel like the way that he says that is the reason why you're not getting that kind of man. And so I guess that's where I'm confused, because I can see him having women on it. First of all, I'm not trying to be whatever.
Yeah.
But for you to call Kevin Samuels and talk to him and have him tell you what you need to do in order to get a relationship, that's a problem for me.
Well, I wonder about that, because
are these women actually the women that are in? You know what I'm saying? Are these actual women that want to?
This is what I want to know from Claudia, because I'm saying if Claudia started off like you, then I'm assuming she had the same sort of questions that you would have about the validity of the people that are calling in.
That's my point.
And stuff like that. So I guess what I'm asking you, Claudia, is do you think that the women that he is, I know you mentioned how they look, and you said, some are young and some are, overweight, some look good, some have teeth, some don't, some work in retail, some are, six-figure, whatever. Sounded like they all said kind of the same stuff. Mm-hmm. Do you think, though, that there's something that's in common with the kind of women that would call into Kevin Samuels that would automatically make it so that someone like April would not ever come in contact with a woman like that and would have a totally different perspective about black women in America?
But let me just say this real quick, because when I watched and I heard the women that were calling, or saw the women that were calling in, they looked like, or they acted like they were like, I don't want to say this, but okay, they were looking like, I'm okay with this man talking down to me.
Okay.
It was almost like I have no self-esteem.
Okay.
And, okay.
So you felt like the kind of woman that would take that kind of talk from a man is not the kind of woman that you're...
that I'm talking about.
And that you're encountering on a daily basis.
Or talking about when I say they want to marry.
Right.
And, that kind of thing. Because I feel like the black women that I know I come in contact with would not allow him to just talk to them like that, and wouldn't come back with something to defend themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So the question then, Claudia, for you, since you've been watching for a year, is do you think this is a good cross section of black women in America, or do you feel like, or do you feel like these are similar kind of black women that are, maybe used to a man talking down to them like that, and so that kind of disqualifies them from this?
I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway,
I
don't know if you understand the question.
I definitely think it's a great cross section, because there are several videos I've seen where women do rebut.
Okay. So we've had very little.
I haven't watched a lot.
We haven't watched a lot.
But I just felt like the 5 women I saw him talk to, they all was just like but immediately going into a little shell, like, okay.
But you haven't been watching for a year.
So I definitely have seen videos where women, particularly women that are more educated, they will do a back and forth with him.
Okay.
And even women who are potentially not educated. He's had some extensive back and forth with women who feel like they can hold their own and can make an opinion. So the women that I have seen that potentially don't do well on the show actually has little to do with maybe self-confidence. Well, I won't say it's little to do, but I think it has more to do with the fact that sometimes women do not know how to engage in logical arguments.
Okay.
So when a man has a conversation with you, or when anyone is having a conversation with you, and the conversation at this point is logical argument. We are not talking about your emotions and feelings.
Yeah.
We are not spinning around in a circle. I don't want you to tell me all the stories about all the this and how your grandmama and your granddaddy did all that.
Right.
That's not what we're talking about. We are talking about
Yes,
a
he does do that.
logical
Right.
argument.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then because I am making a logical argument, I am expecting and or wanting you to now engage in logical conversation back with me. And so there are very few women who can do that effectively.
Yes,
So I
but
think that's what we're seeing
That's what you
is the
think you're seeing.
majority of women who are just who either get intimidated because he
Yes.
is barking at you.
yes,
Got
he
it.
is.
And so you are intimidated by the delivery. You're
Right.
intimidated by the content that he's giving you. You don't have answers. You don't have substance to give back. And so it kind of bulldozes you into a corner
Yeah.
if you do not have either an outgoing personality or
Right.
if you don't feel like as though you have substance that you can contribute and rebut to his argument.
Which is what I've seen, and that bothers me.
Yeah.
You know, that the women won't come back
Right.
and say to
Right.
him, you ain't all that yourself, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but whatever. Anyway.
I don't know why. I don't know why I love seeing you get riled up like this.
No, but I want to ask you
But
something.
April,
Yeah.
April, this is my thing. I feel like we get so, like, as women, and I mean, I did the same thing, April, no lie, but I feel like we get so caught up in the emotion of, like, I don't like this. This feels like disrespect, or I
Yeah.
feel like he's talking down to me, or whatever. That we can't actually even hear what he's saying.
So you started just listening to his argument.
Let me just say, because
Yeah,
I did
like, let's
listen.
just listen to the substance.
Yes, I've listened to the argument. I actually agree with some things that he says.
Right.
No lie.
Right.
I do. And I say, you know what? You right. You know, because I know he said something one time about, you know, how do you expect to get this level of a person if you're not going to be like that or whatever? You know,
you're conducting yourself in this low level and you expect to get this high level.
Exactly.
person. Right.
I get that. You know, because we've said before too, you know, you can't expect to have this list of things you want somebody else to have, and then you don't even have those things. Okay, get it. But I just feel like, I mean, you don't have to talk down to someone for them to hear you. You don't have to degrade them. I feel like it's degrading sometimes, just the way and maybe I need to hear more because I haven't. But this one call, he was talking to one of the girls and she was just saying, you know, well, my grandmother, like you just mentioned the grandmother thing. She said something like that, like my aunt and grandma, they taught me da 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 da. She was just explaining why she had that type of thinking. And he was like, well, you don't need to be with them at all. You need to cut them off. I mean, come on, really? like that's just to me, that's where you start getting ignorant. That's where you start getting stupid, like straight up. Like, why would you need to cut off your grandma and your auntie? Because you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, really?
Okay.
Come on.
So here's the real point, though. The
That's a little too much.
The point though is Claudia is a person that we know, and we're both surprised to hear that she actually is a Kevin Samuels fan. So that does something
I see
to
where
me.
she's coming from, though.
Right.
When she's talking about the logical part of it.
Yes.
You
So
know.
here's my point, Claudia. My point is the fact that you have listened to him for a year makes me think that maybe if you also feel that there is some kind of cross section here that he when he talks to women, and you've been watching this for all this time, you feel like he's getting a nice sample size of what black women seem to want based on what they say. And it also sounds like, based on how you just described it sounds like he's not baiting anybody or anything. He's just asking them some questions. They're not coming on thinking they want a high value man. But after he asks them his little survey, then breaks it down, they realize, oh shoot, I can't get any of this stuff unless I have a high value man, based on what he's describing. So you maintain that you feel that his perspective that he shows on his show gives you a good outlook on what most single black women would want.
I definitely hold to that, and I definitely agree with that. But I think the main thing that is important about his show, and which is also important to say, behind the scenes, he has a private group, and he has couples under his belt. Like, there are women who have listened to the show, listened to his advice, taken his advice, and are now married.
Whoa.
So
Are they
that's
happy,
that.
though?
But we don't know.
Okay.
I mean, they might not. I mean, April, they might not be married to Kevin. The point is that they're married.
Okay, one more question,
Yeah.
Claudia.
This is my thing, right? The whole idea is, how can we make marriage more attractive to Black people as a whole, both Black men and Black women?
Yeah.
And how can we get Black men and Black women to marry each other? Because right now, that's really the work that he's doing and what he's showing. He's showing that Black men and Black women are missing each other.
They're not marrying each other.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
They're like Black men are looking to marry, Black women are looking to marry, and the internal desires, what the Black men want out of a wife and what Black women want out of a husband, it's not matching up.
Okay.
So we are engaging in relations with one another, but we are not marrying.
Got it.
Okay, so
what do we need to do to fix that?
Yeah, so let's talk about the 52% of Black men who are never married.
Right.
Like, what does he have to say about that? Or what do you have to say about that? Do you feel like he is, or, whatever you want to say about that, do you feel like, Black men are not marrying because they have a longer time, I guess you would say, to have kids or whatever.
They don't have the same expiration date that a woman might have based on her ability to have children and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So based on the numbers that he has shared, and April and John know me, like I like to verify numbers. I have not verified these, but according to the numbers that he has shared, all right, of this 52% of Black men that married, like over 40% of those Black men don't have children.
Oh, wow.
Really?
So, yeah. So what he also shows in the statistics is that about 16 to 21% of Black men that are unmarried have children. So it's the same pool or the same Black men that are having all of the babies and are not wanting to marry. The bulk of Black men want to be married and are not having just random sex, just birthing babies all over the place.
Right.
So now, what he also says that
I like that stat.
Agree with, and
I like that news.
We like that stat.
Yeah.
We love that stat, right?
Yeah.
We want to build up our Black men.
That's right. I love that. Yeah.
I think another really great point, and I have seen this in my own personal experience as well, is I agree with you, April. Black men have a longer time, mature, wait, to peruse, to see, find themselves and to marry.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think just in general, particular generation right now is just flat out not marrying as quickly.
True.
I think that's regardless of race. And I think that's for a myriad of reasons.
Right.
I think we're all out here with student loan debt. I think different people, it's like our parents, our grandparents, they get married at like 16 and 19 and stuff. We're not getting married like that because we are carrying more financial burden. People are staying in school longer. People are trying to establish their careers. And so that takes a lot longer. And so when men are saying to themselves, hey, I want to get financially stable. I want to get to a place in my career where I am strong, I'm set, and I can bring a woman into a real plan. Like I'm leading, like I've got a plan in place. And sometimes, the majority of the time, quite frankly, men don't have a plan in place until they're in their 30s.
Right. Yeah. True.
That's the fact of the matter.
Yeah.
And so women, we want to get married since we're 6. And so if you've got men, right, that are like, okay, like I'm working, I'm grinding, I'm 22, I'm 23, I'm 27, I'm 30, I'm 32. Now I'm ready to get married, right? And Black women are like, man, I've been like waiting for you for forever. Now this is also where it gets frustrating because the Black men at 32 or 36 or 43 that are now ready to get married are not marrying the women that are their counterparts.
Right.
They're going for a lot younger.
They're going for younger.
Yeah.
Right.
So then there's frustration about that. So it's
Exactly.
like, well, I'm your peer.
Yeah.
We were in college together. We went on the dates together. We went on
Right.
all the dances and all the stuff. You're supposed to be wifing me. Like, well, you didn't wife me, so now you're looking for somebody that's maybe 5, 7, maybe even 10 years younger. So I think that it is a difficult situation.
Yeah.
that we're in. I heard someone else say this that I thought was a very profound thing. Another man said this, I can't remember who, but he said, your like your boyfriend is your peer, but your husband is older than you.
Mm.
And so I was like, I mean, like, let's relax. Like, I feel like we're doing a lot.
Right.
But then as he began to explain it, he really kind of explained it in that context, in the sense of like, most men are financially stable in a place where they can lead, in a place where they have a vision post 30.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so either you are willing to be with a man that is older than you,
Mm-hmm.
you are willing to get married than you anticipated.
Right.
So that's really kind of, and I mean, obviously we can't make generalizations. I don't think that this works for every single individual. I think there are young Black people getting married at 25 and 26 every day. Maybe not every day, but, a few days out of the week.
Right.
Yeah.
Every other day. Right.
And so I don't think that it's a rule, but what I do think is valid from what I've seen is that, Black men have options, Black men have time.
Mm-hmm.
And as Black women, I think we're not looking correctly, for one.
Mm.
Then secondly, I also think that as Black women, and this is going to sting, April, this is going to sting, and you're married, so it really shouldn't sting you. It really should.
Let me
because
gather
what I'm
myself.
about to say does not apply to you, but it is a fact. Okay? We as Black women, Claudia, we are not fit, feminine, or friendly.
Say that again.
We're not fit, feminine, or friendly.
Oh.
That sounds like something that Kevin Samuel would say. Is that his
I've heard
three
it.
F's?
It is absolutely a Kevin Samuel thing.
He's saying that in order to get a high value man, you got to be those three things: fit,
Listen,
feminine, and friendly.
I've
That's
heard.
what.
Yes, I have heard him
It's
say
just
that.
a matter of saying, right? Like, let's just be honest. As Black women, a lot of us have a really bad attitude. A lot of us do not know what it means to just be friendly to a Black man, right? And then on top of that, the majority of Black women are overweight for their height and size.
Okay, so let me ask you this question real quick before you go on.
Yeah.
I want to ask you if he is only giving. I don't know what his purpose is. Is he trying to give Black women ways to get Black men? Is that what his point is?
Yeah, I would
Or
say
is
that
he trying?
That's his mission.
Is that his mission?
I'd say just like I said before, I think the mission is how can we get Black people married?
Okay.
But see, you're saying
average Black women need to be marrying average Black men, not shooting aims for the 1%.
Right. But what I want to know is he only giving advice to Black women, or is he giving advice to Black men as well? Because if it's just for Black women, then I'll be like, okay. But is he also giving it to Black men? Because I only hear him talking about. Well, like I said, I've only heard him a few times. I only hear him talking about what Black women need to do. Mm-hmm. Now I know he has his list of how to be a high value man. I know that, but there are things that are on the list. There are things that are not on the list that have to do with something like every Black man, if you high value, you automatically fit. Like he don't have fit on there for the Black man.
Right.
But he has that on there for Black women.
Right.
But I think what Black men want in a woman and what Black women want in a Black man are very different. So the list is not going to look the same.
Okay.
See, Black women keep thinking that Black men want you to have degrees, money, and all this stuff. A Black man might find your degree, your intelligence, your money a nice add-on, but that's not what he's going to be immediately attracted to.
What he really wants is fit, feminine, and friendly.
That's his immediate eye is going to be like, is she fit? Is she fine? Is she sexy? First, okay, she's that. Is she friendly? Is she nice? Is she cool? Good vibes? Yes. Is she feminine, or is she giving me all this masculine, domineering energy? Okay, yes, she's feminine. All right, bet. Now you tell me you have a 6-figure business, yo, that's what's up too.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's like I'm not picking you with your 6-figure business and your bad attitude
Right.
and the fact that you're overweight.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna be like, oh well, I'm good because she makes $200K.
I mean, I get that.
Whereas
Right.
I
That makes
think,
sense.
whereas Black women, we are looking for financial stability.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that they look to be fit, I feel like we are looking to any man to be like, yo, do you have a solid job?
Right.
Like, can you
You're
maintain a home?
you're saying that when he talks to these women about what they're looking for, they're
That's
not
what they're saying.
they're not consistently saying I want a man that's fit. They're consistently saying I need a man who's going to take care of me,
Financially stable.
has a vision, stuff
Right.
like that.
Right. And
Okay.
to April's earlier question, his platform started off years ago being him talking to men, to Black
Okay.
men.
He started off
holding
talking to
Black men accountable.
So
Okay.
can
He
you?
then got to a point where it was like, okay, now I'm shifting. And in his own words, he feels like we are in a space where now we need to hold Black women accountable. And no one is saying the things that need to be said to Black women.
Got it.
So now I'm shifting and saying the things to Black women.
Interesting.
And so I've seen in this more present, like within the last month or two, he has done lives where there has been an alternation. So sometimes he'll bring the guys on
Okay.
and he'll talk just as cash crazy to them. Like some of these dudes will come on, saying stuff outside their neck, like, "Oh, Kevin, I don't want to take this woman out." Or no, this is a better example. Black man came on. He was talking to him, and he was like, "Kevin, I'm 39. I've been talking to this woman. She's about 27. I've been talking to her for about 2 years. If I'm honest, I've been married before. I'm divorced, and I have no intention of being married, but I don't want to lose her. Like, how can I keep her?"
Wow.
Kevin Samuels, like, borderline cussed him out and was like, "You are part of the problem. Like,
Ooh.
like absolutely not. Like, you need to leave her now because you are wasting her good years
Wow.
where she could be finding somebody who would wife and marry her, but
Right.
you're sitting around playing games with her right now."
Wow.
I watched that like a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's not like he's not.
That's an episode
holding
April needs to
Black
see. So
men
send
accountable.
that to April. She needs to see that one.
No, see, this is the thing, though. This is the thing that makes sense.
Of course it does.
Like that makes sense. You're wasting her time, whatever.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You're not necessarily saying to him you're worthless. You look horrible. That's why. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not trying to.
I don't think, but he doesn't say that so much. Like he does. I don't feel like he tells women that they're worthless.
Well, let me
And
ask
I
you
don't
this.
think that he says that they're horrible.
Let me ask you this though, because I heard him also talk about men having a right to cheat. He actually said this. Men having a right to cheat.
I do know this rule.
Okay. If you don't keep yourself fit.
So if she's not keeping
Or
herself
if you
fit,
not-
he should be
you
able
know,
to go out and
not-
get somebody.
I don't
That's
hear
not
him.
the argument, but go ahead.
I'm just saying, this is what I heard him say. He said it. And I don't hear him say things like, yes, I get the whole financial thing. And I guess women want that first. I don't see women looking for that first. Do they want that? Yes. But they want a man with integrity. They want a man they can trust. I don't hear him emphasizing that as much when it comes to men. I don't hear him talking about them being God-fearing men. I mean, he may not believe in that, but I'm just saying he's not talking about somebody who is trustworthy, who's going to, dependable. I can depend on him, because you can have all the money in the world, but if I can't depend on you to pick up the kids on time, like seriously, you're keeping your word. I don't hear him saying stuff like that, but I really got irritated, and it's very hard for me to really take in all of this because it's like he's talking out of one side of his mouth and then he's talking out of the other. You know what I mean? Like, how can you say this side and then you say the man can cheat on you if you ain't doing your part? Yeah, he can cheat on you because you ain't doing you ain't coming home looking good. Like, that to me, that doesn't match.
Right.
So
Can
that's
you
not
explain that,
the
please?
Argument. I can't. That's not the argument. The argument, or the point is high value, and you got to remember, he's talking about the 1 to 10%.
Okay.
He's not talking about the average man. So, according to his standards, the average man does not have the right to cheat.
But the 1% does.
The
That's what that's what he was saying.
This is what it is. High value man, according to him, interacts in that world has what he calls is the right to exercise their options. That's regardless of what you do.
So he's just saying
You can clean, you can do all
that
of
this
the
is what
things
they
correctly.
do,
He's
or
saying,
he
yes,
agrees
he's
with
saying
that.
this what they do, right?
He's saying, he's even said the majority of men in these that fall within this category typically do not choose to exercise their options. But there are some who do.
Right.
He feels like because they are at that level of the world, they have the right and liberty to do that because of their money, their status, their power. They, are tempted in different ways. He uses examples like, Bill and Melinda Gates, as I'm sure the both of you know. Bill married Melinda, but kept the girlfriend he was dating that he really loved.
Right.
Right.
But like the whole marriage,
Right.
like all of it,
Right.
like there was a full blown understanding that, hey, I cut out X amount of months or amount of time and I go spend it with her. And so his thing is like, that's typically what men at that level do. Like they exercise options, and there is an agreement within the marriage that, one, I will not embarrass the family or procreate. Now, do I agree? Rule. No, I think that's a little foolish.
Now hold on. Your AirPods cut you off. You just
say
said,
that again.
"Do you agree with that rule?" You need to say it again so that the audience can actually hear what you feel.
Absolutely not.
Okay, all right.
I do not agree with that rule in any way, shape, or form. I will not be second in anybody's life.
Right.
That's just me.
Right.
But given that, I also am not walking around trying to marry a billionaire.
Right. Right.
So and I'm not giving any billionaire or any rich man an excuse or to suggest that they have the right to cheat.
Right.
I'm just saying, I'm simply explaining that's what Kevin Samuel's explanation is around the whole they get to exercise their options.
Right.
I'm just explaining it.
Right.
Yeah, and
Right.
I have a problem with that.
Of course.
I mean,
too.
of course,
Yeah,
I just, it's hard for me to listen to the rest of his stuff.
because you know that's so bogus. Right.
Yeah, it's just like I said. It's just when you are saying one thing and then you say this thing. I don't know. I can't listen to him because of all the things that I don't agree with. You know what I'm saying? Like I do. Like there are some things I'll say. You know what? You're right. Let's just be real, men. Y'all know this the kind of woman you want. You want to be fit. You want to be friendly. I get it. Like.
Yeah.
I can understand him giving us the male perspective,
Right.
as far as what men want
Right.
when they're trying to find a woman.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just
need you to come all the way back to hear that he's explaining to people what 1% of men want.
Right.
what the 1% want. Like
Right.
if you want
What
this
one-
kind of man,
Here's
this what
what
you
you're
need to
signing
do.
up
If
for.
you want this kind of man, this is what you are signing up for.
I would listen.
Okay.
I would
Okay.
respect him, and maybe he does
With that.
this. I would respect him if he said, "This is what this kind of man is about." I would love it if he would say, "I don't think you want that kind of man. Actually, the kind of man you want is the one you're ignoring every day. The average man that you think is not worth your time, that's the one you really want. That's the one that's going to stay with you. That's the one that's going to be faithful to you. That's the one that's going to care about you. That's the one that's going to pick up your kids on time, whatever, all that kind of stuff." To me, I would respect the heck out of Kevin Samuels if that's what he was saying. I don't know if that's what he's saying or not.
It doesn't sound like that's what he's saying.
But maybe he is. What do you say, Claudia?
He does say that, but he's not going to say it like that, John.
Okay.
He's not. He does explicitly say to people, "I am talking about the 1%.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is what the 1% want.
Right.
If you're saying that you want him, then I'm saying that you need to become this."
I get that.
Right.
It's just
And
I didn't
so
hear that in the
the
episodes I
idea-
watched. I didn't hear that in the episodes I watched.
Right. And so it's like the idea is that, listen, there are great men, and he has said this in episodes where it's like, yo, there are great regular black men that are, making great money and, are doing great for their communities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what he does say is you guys are bypassing great men for men that you cannot get.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm okay with that
think
message.
and that makes sense.
I feel like that's a solid word.
I agree.
It is. I just don't want to hear him saying, "Yeah, he could cheat on you." Yeah,
Under any circumstances.
like, yeah,
Right.
you know, like if you get with him 1%. But I get what you're saying now. The
Right.
idea of if you get with him, this what you gonna get.
Claudia, this
Okay.
was literally amazing.
No, it
Thank you for
was.
calling
Thank
in.
you. Like-
Yo, we need to start taking callers for real. Like,
We do.
For real.
We
you know
do.
what I'm saying?
We
Like all
start
the
taking
time. You know what I'm saying?
callers.
Thank you for giving us your time.
It was such a pleasure. I always love talking to you guys.
We always love having you too.
Girl, you about to get me hot over here though.
Yeah, that's good. That's what we want, man. You know what I'm saying? That makes for a better show.
It does.
All right, Claudia, we'll talk to you later.
Alrighty.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Bye. All right, so we got to get our word of the day in here.
Yes, I'm glad that Claudia let me know what he meant by the stuff he meant by,
Right.
because you know.
Yeah. So
you
look,
know.
the word of the day is matrimony.
Matrimony.
Matrimony. It is the sacrament of holy matrimony. Mm-hmm. It is the state of ceremony of being married.
The state or ceremony of being married.
So,
Marriage.
do you think
Matrimony.
Do you think, based on what Claudia just told us, that
Listen,
black
I'm
women just don't want to be married?
I'm just glad I ain't single. That's all I got to say. 'Cause when she said all that, I was just like, Lord, you got to be going through all these checklists and all of that. That's too much.
It's a lot, man.
That's a lot.
So-
I just feel like, you know, a lot of people do want matrimony.
Mm-hmm.
But when you listen to Kevin Samuel and you hear all the stuff he's saying, I mean, for some people, I feel like they'll leave there saying, I don't have a chance. You know what I mean? And I'm saying you do because...
Well, maybe we listen to more of his episodes because it sounds like Claudia's
I do.
saying
And
he has a
yes.
different message oftentimes, which
Claudia
is
has helped me be able, because he had a live the other day and I was like, oh no.
Like you're not
like
watching
I will not. Like I clicked on and I was like, I can't
should've
even.
watched it.
I
You know what I'm
can't.
saying?
I think it might be the cockiness that makes me not
that's
be
what
able
your
to.
problem is.
I
with
think
that.
it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
But
we have to fight through some episodes. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
so I can talk a little bit more. You know, I can know what I'm talking about when I talk about Kevin Samuel.
Yeah.
If I want to, maybe I don't want to.
You might not want to. Anyway, we enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. Thank you again, Claudia, for calling in and
Yes.
for giving us that perspective. That's the first black woman that I have heard say that she's a Kevin Samuel
She's
fan.
the first black woman. I heard one say she started off liking him.
Oh, really?
But then as she listened, she was like,
she was like,
nah.
I can't do it.
But
Wow.
I think you have to, like she said, follow what he really is trying to, what his mission is, what he's trying
Yeah.
to say. I don't know. I just haven't gotten there yet.
If we
so-
believe Claudia, if Claudia is right, then it sounds like his mission is to try to get more black people to be married, trying to match up a black man with a black woman,
Yeah.
because somehow they're looking for different things. I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, I
But the
know he
numbers
needed-
seem to show that
I-
we're getting married at a lower rate than the rest of them for some reason. Who
That's
knows what
true.
it is? You know what I'm saying?
That's true. I just need him to add honesty to that
yeah,
list.
to it. And integrity.
Integrity. Yeah, that's a big part of
Anyway,
add to the list, and I'll be all right.
we'll see y'all next time. Thanks for joining us again, and see you next week.
Bye, guys.